I don't want to lose my faith in God. I don't want to lose my faith in God. For if I lose my faith, who's gonna help me run this race? I don't want to lose my faith in God. Hello out there in the community, and welcome again to Porch Puppy Comics, where if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. This is episode 16, and that is for today, Saturday, Pickle Barrel Saturday. Because what do we say on the Pickle Barrel Saturday? You don't know what's in the pickle barrel until you're taking the lid off in it. And I thank the Lord for it today because, again, it's good to be with the community. I thank the Lord, yet praying for the community. We got our scripture reading this morning. We'll be coming from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 and 2. And it says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report." That sounds good. Let me go down to 3. "Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." May the Lord bless the reading and the hearing of his holy word. That's the reason why I started off this particular episode with that song, "I Don't Want to Lose My Faith in God." As you can see from this picture on this Pickle Barrel Saturday, this is an old picture, an old DC character by the name of Onyx. And always liked the character. It was done back in 11/23/92. And I had it in black and white. I took it out, touched it up, re-inked it, threw some color on it. And because I like this character, they don't do nothing with her anymore. She was a character, if you get those old issues of the DC updates, she was in that particular issue. She might have been in a couple of comics, but I can't remember exactly what they were at that particular time. So we're going to start out with a picture. I'm going to start doing pictures every now and then, bringing them up like I started the channel. But this one here has always been real close to me. Like I said, it was done originally in 1992. So you mathematicians out there, you know how old this picture is. And I've got something else I got to show you. We have here famous first editions, Action Comics #1. A friend of mine, Brother Rob, had gave me this book, gave me and Mikey both one actually, but I've never had one, never owned one. But I thought this was real nice. Let me open it up for you so you can see the original cover. Isn't that nice? That is really, really nice. I always get tickled every time I see this little man right here. He's like, "I don't know what's going on." He don't know, but it's really funny. And I thank the Lord for this. It's a nice book. I got some, like I said, this is Pickle Barrel Saturday, so we just pulling out some stuff today. I got comics to show you. I want to show you this early print, little bitty fold-in poster. You might be able to get it all in. You may not. But anyway, it's an old picture of the first generation Youngblood done by Rob Liefeld. This is old Liefeld stuff. And I can't make out who the other gentleman is at the bottom. It looks like Ordway. That's what it looks like. So Liefeld and Ordway, but his art now compared to this was back in the 80s. You know, when this come out, before the book even come out. And I thought it was cool. I just went on and kept it. Whoops. I just went on and kept it because, you know, I'm going to put it this way so y'all can see it. Check that out. Those of you who got young blood, I'm just dropping it today. You got the case of the dropsies. Now my grandson, he got me started on anime, manga, and he got me started with this. One Punch Man. One Punch Man, if you've ever seen it, it's a cool show. It's nice. You know, it's just one of those shows that you just, pretty much it's a cartoon, you just kick back. And it's typical, anime, manga, Dragon Ball Z, Hero Academia stuff. It's really interesting, but I had a chance to pick this book up. Maybe down the road, Lord bless, if I run across them and I can get them pretty decent, I might pick up the rest of the volumes. And, where we read from left to right, this book is read from right to left. And so, it's black and white on interiors. Same old, but it's a nice book regardless. All right, y'all. Here we go. Now, I'm going to try to do this, and we're going to try to go as rapid fire with it, because I got about maybe a little over 40 books today in the pickle barrel. Again, as I told you, some were picked up back last weekend during the free comic book day stuff, and I traded for a bunch, and some of you going to see, some of them still had the price tags on them, what I traded for. And I think this is a good haul. And close to the end of this stack is what I reached in to my own collection, because I haven't even filed these into my collection yet. So I think you'll get a kick out of it. We've started out with the first 6 issues of Dark Reign Punisher. All right. This is the second print variant. That's the second print variant. Variant number 2. Number 3. Number 4. These are homage covers, some of them also. Number 5. That's a famous Punisher and Daredevil homage cover. Number 6 of the Dark Reign Punisher. It's a good series. I like to get the whole series. I think Brother Rob's trying to get them up there too. And I'd like to just check them out. I haven't had a chance to read all of them because I've never had all of them. Another book I've been looking for, Captain America 253. Well, this is Captain America going against Baron Blood, John Bernhardt. I'm telling you, it's a great book. I got the one more to get to have the full storyline, and that's 254. And I might work on trade on it down the road. Remember I told you I was looking for the animated version of Dark Claw and ended up picking it up. Dark Claw Adventures, done in the style of Batman in the animated series. And still, just like the other one, it's a great book. All right, community. On this Pickle Barrel Saturday, we're going to read rapid fire with some Spider-Man, ASM. And these are McFarlane covers and interiors. Ready? Here we go. Amazing Spider-Man 318, 319, 320, 321, Silver Sable and Paladin, 322. Look at that McFarlane, y'all. Come on. 323, Spidey and Cap. 324, Sabretooth. And 325,
And that was a run of the assassination plot. It was 6 issues. And that was a good storyline too, dealing with the Red Skull in this one. And again, like I said, Todd McFarlane art. Where can you go wrong? Let me move these out of the way. Got more coming at you, folks. More coming at you. All right. I think we got a few more Spider-Man coming. I've been looking for these also. ASM 269, Firelord. ASM 270. If you've never read these couple of books, Spider-Man's at his wit's end. He's taking on a cosmic character that everything he's throwing at him, he's not even holding back, I don't believe. And everything he's throwing at him, you know, Firelord is just shrugging it off. And you see the Avengers coming up behind him. And this story, it flows over into this next book, which is the Avengers 258. And this is where they come in and Spider-Man tell him it's about time y'all got here. But by that time, he done dropped buildings and done everything he could to slow Firelord down. And I guess he finally just gave up and he got knocked out somehow or another. But it was quite funny, but it's a good issue. And of course, he's in the black suit still. And we got Amazing Spider-Man 161. I've always liked this cover. As I said, you know, some of them, this, if you notice on the bottom, you may not be able to see it with the camera, but it's kind of waved on the bottom like it's got a little moisture in it, but it still presents well. Spider-Man and Nightcrawler, it's still a good run. And now we've got ASM 239 with the Hobgoblin, ASM 240 with the Vulture. Still great books, and they're good to check out. This next run, these books, like I told you, as we get close to the end, we'll be digging into the pickle barrel. So this run here is dealing with Blood and Thunder. This is where Thor had just something happened where he was let loose with this and Asgardian rage. And it was taking everything in the cosmos basically to try to stop him. So it's a 12-issue run and it crossed over. Actually 13. But it crossed over. So we're going to start out, and it starts out in the Mighty Thor 468. Then it jumps over to Silver Surfer 86, part 2. Then it jumps into Warlock and the Infinity Watch, number 23. I'm missing, as you can see, part 3. And part 3, if I'm not mistaken, is a Warlock Chronicles. And I'm on the lookout for it. And then once I get that, now I'll have the full run. And then you can sit down and read them at your leisure. All right, that's part 4. Jumping back into the Mighty Thor 469. Silver Surfer 87, part 6. Some fantastic covers also. Warlock, the Warlock Chronicles, number 7. Excuse me, yeah, number 7, part 7. Ain't that something? Warlock and the Infinity Watch, part 8, number 24. Jumping back into the Mighty Thor, part 9, 470. Silver Surfer, number 88, part 10. Warlock Chronicles, number 8, part 11. This got some spine ticks and a little rubber on the side. Maybe I'll upgrade, but like I said, I've got the full run in the story. If I see one that looks better than this one, then I will pick it up. We've got part 12. This is Warlock and the Infinity Watch, issue number 25, and this is a die-cast cover. When you open up the cover, it removes Thanos and Warlock, and then you just got Thor sitting down there, and I think there's a bunch of other heroes behind him while they've got him in chains. And then, last but not least, would be issue 13, which they call it the end, the Mighty Thor 471. Now, these books, as I said, I've been looking for an awful long time and just trying to piece them together. You know, a lot of times you just don't want to jump right on into it and start grabbing up stuff until, you might be able to find them, elsewhere. So that's what we're working on right now. I get that number 3 or part 3, and I'll be in good shape. All right. Let's move on a little further. Captain America, Annual 8 versus Wolverine. Great book. Mike Zeck. Need I say more? Look at the books, and the shape on these books here that I've been showing you have been excellent. There might have been some, like I told you, that one that might have spine ticks and little color rub. Other than that, the book is nice. It's real nice. Okay, check this out, y'all. Justice League of America, number 200, newsstand. Nice book. But what would make it even better? Justice League of America, number 200, newsstand. Nice book, y'all. Those are real nice. George Perez. But what George Perez would be complete without Avengers 200, George Perez art, and again, newsstand. Huh? What do you think about that? Now, here's one that took me a while to get. Batman 200. Now, this is a pretty book, if you allow me to say. It's a pretty book. Every one of them I've seen, they've been kind of rough shaped. As you can tell, there's barely any spine ticks on it. The corners are still yet sharp. Even though the pink and the white in the background it's nice. It looks good. It presents extremely well. And it's Neil Adams art. It's got a pin-up on the inside of Scarecrow. And, this is a book that me and my brother Mikey, man down. Here we go. Me and brother Mikey and brother Rob has been after. And, it's just a great book. You can't have 200 without Batman 300. I always like that book. Always. If I run across it, I know people say, why are you picking up 2 and 3 of them? Well, like I said, if the one that I pick up looks better, trade one off, keep the other one, so on and so forth. But it's just good to have. I don't have an extensive Batman collection. My collection is rather eclectic. You can tell by just the stuff I'm showing you. This is the stuff that I'm pulling out of, showing you in the pickle barrel unless I get trade. And coming up again, we've got Fantastic Four. I've always liked this particular Fantastic Four 166 versus the Incredible Hulk. This is my era of Fantastic Four. Like I said, I'm just an old guy, old comic collector, and been collecting since 73, on and off. And, you still go back and get the books that you either traded off or sold off or what have you. And these have always been in my collections, whatever iteration of a collection that I had. You can't have 166 without 167. And this one's even more dear to me because I'm a St. Louis boy, born and raised. Well, not completely raised, but born and raised until I moved down here to Kentucky and I'm finished growing. So this is 167. And they're in St. Louis fighting at the Arch. And I always thought that was cool. And the last 2 books of this Saturday Pickle Barrel haul is Thor, number 300, You know, it's amazing how these books back in the day, and I don't mean back in the day. I'm talking about within the last 5 or 10 years. You could go and pick up a Thor 300 for $3, maybe $5 in this condition, or maybe even better. Now you're looking at 15, 20, 25, and don't let them be CGC graded or CBSC graded or whatever the other number of the letter is for the tuning of the books. I mean, it's something, and I understand, why folks want to. I can see, like I said, I had the opportunity to work at a comic shop here in town with the gentleman I told you about, another friend of ours. He passed a couple of years ago that used to run the shop. And that's where we all met, most of the gang here, T. Ravis, and myself, and Mikey, and others. There's others that we ran into. I could drop names all day. And then not to mention just the friends I've made, because he ran that shop for over 30 years. But I'm just talking about, just people that you put you in the path. And what I liked about it too, folks, is they knew who I was and who I stood for. They knew that I was a preacher. They knew that I don't stand for no foolishness. They understood all that. And what I liked about it is they wasn't ashamed to come up and say, "Hey, KJ, you would you pray for my grandmother? Would you pray for my dad? Would you pray for my mom? Would you pray for me?" And I thought that was good, because we as people of God, that's what we're supposed to do. No matter if this is our hobby, or we're working, or we're in the store, or whatever, because that's what I was saying beforehand. There are people that they just don't have no hope. And you trying to let them know that Jesus Christ is hope. He is the hope for the world. He was my hope. Is the reason that I ended up getting saved. He was my hope. So I thank the Lord that I have an opportunity. And even now with the community, to let you know that we showing off good books, showing books, talking about them, laughing about them. But yet and still, you got to understand that, all this too is going to pass at one day. The last book that I'll be pulling out, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Thor 200. Another book that I try to keep in my collection because I like Thor. I've always liked Thor. Like I said, again, old school. I can't reiterate that, over and over. Most of the older books and different things I like, because the stories, as I said before, are simplistic, and they don't, try to sit up there, and it's not jumping into politics and all this other kind of stuff. Of course, I know back in the day in the 70s, they had the drug issue stories with Green Lantern and Green Arrow. I think there was a prison story, an Amazing Spider-Man, and shucks. Even I think it was an issue of Iron Man that was done, talked about it taking place over in Vietnam. So, I mean, the comic books, they say it's life imitating art, art imitating life, or however you wanna look at it. But the fact of the matter is, when you deal with this type of stuff, you're gonna run into something. But comic books are supposed to be for enjoyment. I know there's a lot of times, like I said, it's a lot of the books I see and hear about, they're real dark. And, what they said, well, everything can't be sunshine and lollipops, I guess you would say. I had a gentleman even tell me one time, because we got on a discussion about the amount of cursing that they have in these new comic books. And he just started picking. He didn't know me from Adam. Now, the gentleman that ran the comic shop, him and I was friends, and I was in there with another friend. And basically, he was just telling me, he said, well, what do you want him to say then? Well, golly gee, man, or oh, man, just gee whiz, or far out, and he was laughing. And I kind of looked at him, with a kind of, say a look of derision. Let's put it that way. Because then my friend spoke up and told him, he said, man, this man's a preacher. And immediately started to apologize. And I told him, I said, look, I said, you can write a book, you can do a TV show, you can do a movie without using the Lord's name in vain, without dropping any of them, I call them the massive curse words, but he said, well, that's life. I said, well, you live in life right now. Comic books is supposed to be an escapism, fun. It's supposed to be, it's not supposed to be no gray matter in between there. It's supposed to be good versus evil, and that's the extent of it. But now they blurring the lines and everything, so, this is the reason I stay with the stuff that I like. And not only that, it's cheaper, it's more entertaining, and I can go back and pick up stuff that maybe I wanted to read years ago and just wasn't able to. But that being said, community, this has been, again, episode 16 of the Pickle Barrel Saturday, where we look here, we're going to open up the pickle barrel and see what's in it. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any comments, any questions, as I said at the beginning, the song that was sung, don't want to lose my faith in God. We don't want to lose our faith in God by no way, shape, form, or fashion. And like I say all the time, as you see in the heading, you come for the comments, stay for the word of God. There's a hope in his word. He is our hope. And as I say so many times again, Jesus Christ is the only one that can fill the void. You can replace it with anything you want to, but it still won't fill that void. Only Jesus Christ can fill the void for you. I appreciate you tuning in to my channel. Again, thank you so much. Yet praying for the community. And as we say, it's fun here on the porch. I appreciate you. God bless your community. Have a great morning.